So welcome to everyone, whether you're joining us in person or
So this week there's a big psychiatry event in Tampa, I believe it is, Tampa. So everyone is basically gone except for Dr. Bustig and me. So I don't suspect but that many people coming in person, but people do call in on the phone and they listen to your session on the phone, and it's actually a lot of people who call in on the phone. More people call in on the phone than they do show up in person, which is really great. I can't tell exactly who they are, but I know Dr. Lisa Merlo-Green calls in, and a couple other people call in, so that's nice because they can't come here in person.
yeah, and also they can listen in the future. So maybe when we set out this week, well, for anyone who did look at last week, we might tell them that we were able to get rid of the feedback.
I'll include that in the email.
Just in case they're concerned that all mine are going to be that way. All right. Well, we're getting there. Okay.
Okay, let me go round up people.
Okay.
Yeah, but a lot of times I'm good with it going away. I don't feel good. I knew I didn't feel good this morning. Well, it's more like a flu feel.
What a nightmare. But you're going to the doctor later.
Yeah, but that's my surgery doctor. But that's okay. But remember we took the flu shot. This is like. Can I turn the light off? Yeah. Where is that?
That's Trish's place. But I'm gonna have Genevieve's here. No one is here. She'll probably come right back, but I'm gonna
Hello,
Hi,
everyone.
Trish.
Hi. Nice to see you.
So whenever you're ready, we'll mute our microphone so there's no feedback.
Perfect. Okay. I'm ready. And if there's anyone in any of the remote locations or on the phone, please mute in your room and also mute your phone line. And welcome to everyone. Welcome to everyone. Again, if you mute in your location, it can help with any of the audio feedback. Hi, nice to see you. So welcome to everyone, whether you're joining us in person or in a remote location or on the phone, to this week's session of Mindful Moments. And take a moment to mute any devices you have or have them on vibrate. And also, if you have any music that's going to come on for being on hold, if you can mute that as well or turn that off. And you might like to dim the lights. And we'll begin just by noticing that we're here and that we have set this time aside for ourselves, a time to rest, a time to just be, a time to rest in these moments. We'll notice that we're here on this Thursday afternoon, April 7th, 2016. And let's begin with a few deep belly breaths. Deep breath in, filling the lungs, and out with a sigh. Letting your jaw and tongue relax on that exhale. We'll do that 2 more times. Deep breath in and out. And once more. Letting yourself find a comfortable position in your chair, a position that supports you, allows you to rest with ease, as well as that supports your staying awake during this time and practicing with us. You might like to have your eyes open or closed. And if they're open, just allowing them to rest on your lap or the table or floor in front of you. We'll begin to bring attention to our body sitting in the chair. Just noticing that support that's available in the chair, the contact with your back, your hips, your legs. Noticing any way the body's holding any tension and seeing if you can just let go into that support. Perhaps taking a few more deep breaths and letting go into that support on the exhale. And bringing attention to your feet, resting on the floor. No need to shift position, just noticing if one or both feet are on the floor and letting them rest as well in that support. We'll begin to bring our attention more and more into the core of our body. And today we're going to be practicing the mindfulness of breath, classic mindfulness practice. And I'll be offering some instruction, and if you are already familiar with this practice, feel free to go into your own practice at any time. In this practice, we allow our focus to rest with the breath, and we'll begin to explore in the beginning our own experience of the breath in the body, perhaps by putting a hand on your lower belly and just sensing right now the movement of the belly with the breath. The way the belly rises and gently presses against the hand on the in-breath and falls away from the hand on the out-breath. Rising and falling. For the next 3 breath cycles, you might say to yourself on the in-breath, rising, as you sense the belly rise, and falling, as you sense the belly fall, just very lightly, like a whisper. And now shifting awareness from the belly to the ribs. And you might need to just gently place one of your hands on the side of your rib cage, or just sensing from the inside the movement of the ribs with the breath. And right now we're just letting the breath be as it is naturally, not trying to make it any particular way. Sensing the expanding and contracting of the ribs. And for the next 3 breath cycles, you might say to yourself, expanding, as you experience that expansion on the in-breath, and contracting as you sense the letting go of the out-breath. And if everyone can just check their mute. I'm hearing some sound on this end. Muting if it isn't already. Right now we're going to shift our awareness from the ribs to the upper chest. And you might like to place one or both hands on the upper chest near the collarbone. Sensing that rising and falling of the chest with the breath. Once more, saying to yourself, rising on the in-breath and falling on the out-breath. Now releasing the hands, perhaps having them comfortably in your lap, as you shift your awareness once more to the sensations of breath in your throat. Sensing the breath rise and fall in the throat. Once more, noting rising and falling. And now shifting attention to your nostrils. And without any particular effort, just tuning into the breath flowing in and out of the nostrils. And especially if your mind is active, it can be very helpful to use noting of the experience. Perhaps the word in on the in-breath and out on the out-breath. It can also be helpful to stretch the word out so it takes the whole space and length of the in or out-breath, like in and out. And now I'll invite you to choose the location in your body that you'd like to focus on for the rest of this breath meditation. Choosing the location in which it's the easiest for you to sense the breath, or perhaps the easiest for you to rest your attention in that area. Knowing that as your mind wanders off, you'll be returning to that same place over and over again. Choosing now and beginning to rest your attention in that particular location. If you aren't able to choose a particular place or your mind is very active today, it can be helpful to choose the belly, as this is the most grounding for many people. Wherever you've chosen, just beginning to sense the in-breath and the out-breath. And also choosing a way of noting the breath, especially if your mind is active today, using the words rising and falling, expanding and contracting, or in and out. And now bringing some easy curiosity to how your breath is right now, tuning into it in whatever part of the body you're focusing on, beginning to notice if right now your breath is deep or shallow. A deep breath might be a lot of movement in the body, and a shallow breath not so much. Nothing to make bad or wrong, just noticing how the breath is in this moment. Noticing if your breath is fast or slow. Noticing if the breath seems smooth or rough. And if there's any places in the breath cycle where the breath catches, just noticing if it's on the in-breath or the out-breath. Now, with interest and curiosity, just resting your attention with the next 3 breath cycles, each one from the beginning of the in-breath all the way to the end of the out-breath. And we're at our midway point now. Let's together take a few more of those deep belly breaths. Deep breath in and out. And feel free to shift your position in the chair a little. And once more with a deeper breath and out. And again. And before we return to our practice of being with the breath, let's just go ahead and lift one shoulder and then the other. And then doing a couple shoulder rolls. You might like to move forward in your chair for this. And then reversing direction. And shaking the shoulders out again. And then once more, returning to stillness in an easy way. Allowing your attention to return to the breath. Once more, choosing the location in the body in which the breath seems most accessible right now, easy to find. Resting your attention there from the beginning of the in-breath all the way to the end of the out-breath. Letting the breath be easy and natural now. Just tuning into the way that it is, all on its own. We'll settle into this practice now of experiencing the breath, the sensations of breath flowing through the body, using noting as a way to help us focus on the sensations of breath. And noticing too, whenever the mind has wandered off completely from the breath, if your mind is active in the background, but part of your attention is with the breath, then it's fine to just keep going, bringing as much attention to the breath as you can while allowing yourself to continue to be at ease. When you've noticed that you've completely wandered off from the breath, you can just, in a sense, look around and see where you've wandered to thinking, to sensation, to emotion. to sound. Name it in a word or two of description, and then simply return to the breath being your safe haven in this case, a place where you can rest and return again and again. Let's practice like this now. Noticing where your attention is. If it's with the breath, you can continue with the practice. If it's wandered off, just gently noticing where you've gone and coming back to the breath. And if your mind is still very active, which may be true in the middle of a busy day, or if you're feeling tension in the body, I'll suggest another way of noting the breath, and that is to say to yourself 1 on the first in-breath, and have that internal sigh, the ah, on the out-breath, consciously relaxing your jaw and your tongue on the out-breath. The second in-breath, noting 2, and then ah, that internal sigh on the out-breath. You might like to try that now. Bringing all of your attention to the breath for the next 3 breath cycles, each one from the beginning of the in-breath all the way to the end of the out-breath. And as you do this, we'll begin to warm up the practice a bit, perhaps sensing that inner smile as you sense the breath, as if you're smiling at yourself. And as we transition out of this practice, I'll invite you to also connect with yourself in terms of your own heart right now, checking in and to see if you'd like to offer yourself any support, and especially if there was any sense of, any self-criticism or self-judgment that might have arisen during this time. Feel free to put one or both hands over your heart, and perhaps offer yourself some words of kind support. Breathing in your own friendly intent to yourself in this moment. Without stirring up too much doing, we'll just begin to come out of the practice by expanding our awareness first beyond the breath to include the entire body. Sensing the support of the chair and the floor. Opening your awareness to include feelings, moods, emotions. To include the state of the mind. Sounds and perhaps smells in the environment. And even from connecting with yourself on the inside, you can sense the presence of others who have joined us during these mindful moments. And in the last few moments of our practice today, I'll invite you to tune into whatever is most pleasant for you in this moment. Whether it's sound or sensation or that sense of connection, whatever it is, allowing your mind to rest there and letting it blossom in your awareness. Using the in-breath to breathe it in, the out-breath to settle in the body. And when you're ready, I'll invite you to open your eyes and perhaps shift your position a little. That ends our practice period for today. And I hope that you'll have a wonderful week.